We're back at it here on Chewin The Fat. We got the second episode. We got Uncle Jimmy here with us. Fired up to have him here, and we'll just go ahead and hop into it. We had Union today. You taught us in Union. That was awesome. Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yes, sir.
Talked about finances and money, and so things are going amazing in Union. I love it.
Yeah. What'd you get into after Union? Just
I went home, and we went to the gym. That's something me and Tina do every day together with the kids. So
that's awesome. Yeah. What'd y'all boys get into?
Second episode, back-to-back episode days where we're recording. Get a puncture in my tire, same tire, rear left.
Wild stuff.
Crazy coincidence. So
it's actually crazy that you got a. Have you ever had a flat tire prior to
never
this?
had a puncture or nothing, and every time we've recorded an episode, gotten a puncture.
God's probably mad at you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went to a different shop this time. Only $20 to fix it. Was pretty.
Did you go
hyped.
Bruce?
No, I went to it was like some sketch one right beside the Circle K by the church.
Yeah, I pulled up with him to make sure he didn't have to leave the truck, and I was like, what are we pulling up into right here?
Yeah, there was cars like all over in the yard. It was pretty crazy stuff, but they got me out of there in like 10 minutes. It was chill.
$20 too, huh? That's half of what you
I
ran
spent
on the last
40 last time. It was wicked.
Ooh.
But then went to the gym, got my body right, came home, locked in.
Cohen, you just kind of did the same.
Yeah, I came here, ate a sandwich, and went to the gym and chilled.
What
Went to
kind
the
of sandwich
store.
did you eat, though?
Today, normally we have like ham. I just had a turkey sandwich today. Turkey, cheese, and white
that's
bread.
what I went for lunch today. I went sandwich too. I had work right after school got out, so I went home, went sourdough with provolone, Black Forest ham, put it in the toaster section on the air fryer, went mayo, a little bit of sriracha Tabasco, not like on it, like drizzled, like a couple droplets.
Yeah.
And then I took these black pepper pork rinds and then tossed them in barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I had the poor man sandwich. So I didn't have all that.
Well, listen. I went
Just
all of
turkey
it's
and cheese.
And white bread and mayonnaise and mustard. But
There you
now
go.
see
Pretty
this is
simple.
what
Ain't
this
nothing
is.
wrong with that.
You don't have to go crappy bread to save money.
Right.
You can go to Aldi.
Yeah.
Aldi's you can go sourdough for the same price. That's
Shout
how I'm
out
feeling.
Aldi.
Shout out Aldi. Aldi, you go to Aldi?
I don't.
Yeah.
I do. Me and Tina have this little routine. This is going to be funny. So when we go to the grocery store to Walmart, one of the things we do is we go to Aldi right after that so we can do the walk of shame. Do you guys know what the walk of shame is in Aldi's?
Yeah, where you see what you just paid way too much for.
Well, no, the walk of shame is like all the little trinkets that they have in the aisle that's not food.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
there's
yeah,
always
yeah.
something there you can buy for the house that you don't need.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the other thing for me with Aldi, I have this little rivalry with our elders of the Northgate, Mike and Jen Thompson. She swears by Aldi's ranch, and I call it Poverty Ranch because Hidden Valley is the best ranch. Hidden Valley.
You think
is,
Hidden Valley's?
Oh, Hilly by way.
Like the ones that you could buy at the store, definitely Hidden Valley's the best.
Yeah, but me and Joe, you know about our ranch thing?
No, man. So listen, this is perfect. The ranch war. What's going
So
on?
we've been ranking ranches since middle school.
Oh,
So we have categories we rank it on: viscosity,
okay.
liquidiness,
Yeah.
flavor, and then this is in the viscosity range, but like how if it's too liquidy where you have to get it quick.
Yeah.
You know, you have to like eat it real fast
Yeah.
before it drips everywhere. So we've been doing this for a while. From the store, Hidden Valley.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
sure.
That's
so we
fine.
agree there. All
That's
right.
fine. But what's your top one right now?
My top one is probably Voodoo Wings.
I can go there with you.
Voodoo Wings in Mobile has the best ranch I've tasted.
Really? Did you ever ask them what it is?
No.
Because it could be Hidden Valley.
No, it's
No,
it's
a
Hidden
lot-
Valley in
it's
bulk.
a
It
lot
has
more
that homemade.
It's that like a lot. It's not
Just more runny kind
It's a
of.
lot runnier.
Yeah.
But you don't have to queso it. Like you don't have to hurry it to your mouth.
True.
He said queso.
But That is a really solid ranch. Where did we? I had one the other day that was the ranch that's in the middle of a vegetable tray. You know when you're at like a party and there's a vegetable tray?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The ranch that's in the middle of it is always fantastic.
But a lot of times that's Hidden Valley. If you
Is
look
it?
At if you look at the thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
No, I think from the store Hidden Valleys. Now, I like if a restaurant does homemade ranch, I'm going to try it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from the ranch that's like thick. Like almost like cottage cheese like texture, you know?
Yeah,
like
no, I'm not going with anything that even looks
chunks
like
up.
cottage cheese. That just
Yeah.
doesn't even,
Yeah,
it looks like it's just too old.
yeah. This is one thing you wanted to talk about since we're already in this like vein of
We're in
things.
the food thing. We're chewing the fat.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking. I get you're a fruit snacks fan in general.
I love them. I have a huge, like one of the things when little kids come to our house, that's like our thing. Like, and my kids growing up, like I just love trying different fruit snacks with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us at the Lovejoy house, the number one fruit snack is Gushers. Like Gushers. But some people say it's not a fruit snack.
No, so I did some research on this.
There it is, fact checker.
When we you brought this idea to me when we brought the idea of the episode to you. So I went to Google first. Google has it as it's a fruit snack.
Okay.
So you're in the secondly.
My kids swore it's not.
Secondly, this is for which one was it? Which kid?
Trenton. Trenton was
Trent.
trying to say
This is for you. If you go to a grocery store, they're not in the candy section.
That's what I said.
So I went today, which in Publix, if you want a fruit snack, they make you work for it because it's over there by the cheese. Nowhere near any of the snacks.
Really?
So that's how I knew because I went looking for Gushers.
Yep.
I went to the candy, nowhere to be found. I went to the snacks, nowhere to be found. I looked at a worker. I said, "Where are your fruit snacks?" She pointed me to the corner. I went, and there was Gushers.
There it is.
So it is a fruit snack.
There it is.
And you were saying that it's y'all's favorite.
I think it's number one.
I hit you with the Black Forest Juicy Burst. Now, I couldn't find them at Publix, which hurts their argument. But those are phenomenal. So if you see those
are really good.
Got to give them a try because it's a Gusher essentially. It has like
Gusher-esque vibe to it.
All right.
Yeah.
We're Gusher fans though.
Gusher fans for sure.
What about you, Cohen?
I like Gushers, yeah. My favorite fruit snacks is probably like, what is the brand?
Welch's?
Is it Welch's? Yeah.
Okay.
I like the Welch's fruit snacks a lot.
Cohen, tell him about the big pack you bought a month ago.
Oh, yeah. I bought it's like this, but bigger. It's like a 40-pack, I think. Because my brothers were coming.
This is a 6-pack.
It might have been like a 20-something pack. I don't remember.
No, it was like,
40?
Might have been even a 60.
No, it wasn't 60.
Was it not?
It had a lot in it, though.
It had a lot
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah, I was tearing them things up.
And then Austin
And then my
came
brothers, yeah, when they stayed like a month ago, I guess, they ate some. And then Austin, shout out Austin.
over. Yeah, shout out
He
Austin.
came and ate some too. So.
We ate there was like probably 10 packs left in there. And Colin was
just
like, we got to get rid of these. He was like, we can't have them in the house anymore. We have to lock in. So we were like, Austin, eat some. And we threw down on the fruit snacks.
What is y'all's take on the fruit snacks that have the yogurt on the outside of them?
Oh, those are kind of good.
Really?
Have you ever had those?
I've never had them. Just the thought of it, I was kind of like,
It's like
I kind of shied away for a minute.
You know what I'm talking about?
It's the things that's in the
Is
fridge.
it like a raisin-like thing almost?
It's like
No,
they can
or
have
a
like
fruit?
different fruit, like a blueberry.
Oh, yeah. I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, those
yeah,
are
I
good.
like those.
Yeah, those are pretty good. I don't know if since Gushers count as a fruit snack, I think they're number one. But in the sense of if we were going gummy candy in general, I'd go Albany's gummy bears. Or
Yeah, those are
Worms.
good.
Yeah, I like.
But these are very gummy-esque, but they count as a fruit snack, which I think helps their case.
I don't know, sour worms, man. If you're going gummies, sour worms,
Sour worms are
it's
good.
like you can't screw them up. It's like you could get
Yeah.
just the cheapest stuff at Love's gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's some of the best sour
Yeah.
gummy worms.
Uh-huh.
Every
Yeah.
time we take a road trip, I'll stop at Love's,
Yeah.
and that's a big thing for me. Because we travel a ton through the years,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't stop at regular. It's got to be a truck stop. Like
Yeah.
it's
So,
gotta be
on
a
my
Buc-ee's
list-
or
a
Love's.
little bit nicer place to stop.
On my
Yeah.
list of questions, like I can show it to you. I was typing out some stuff that I wanted to some stuff I wanted to cover. One of the points is road trip gas station essentials.
Oh, you knew it.
So let's give me say you're going in and you're going to go maybe caffeine drink, normal drink, sweet and savory. So give me your 4.
Okay, so when we go into a gas station, for me personally, I do always do a fountain drink,
Mm-hmm.
Diet Dr. Pepper. That's
All
like
right.
my go-to
All
while I'm
right.
traveling. I actually I'm a recovering monsteraholic, so I'm 3 weeks clean.
Okay.
I confess I'm 3 weeks clean on my monsters. I've switched over to coffee, so no longer doing the monster thing. But if I go into a gas station, for me it's I'm getting a Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm getting pork rinds.
Okay.
Hot and
Yep.
spicy.
Yep.
And then if I don't do pork rinds, I do something called corn nuts.
Yeah.
Corn nuts are good.
Oh, yeah.
yes, those
Oh,
are
yeah.
amazing.
Those are
That's
so
like a
good.
great little snack on the road. And if I don't do that one, my other go-to is just white cheddar Cheez-Its. White cheddar Cheez-Its
Yeah.
is what I like to nibble on while I'm
Now
traveling. on the
corn
road.
nuts do different flavors. I know. Are you just the plain like the original?
My favorite was the barbecue, and they quit making it.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
so
never had those.
Now you got to go to like the queso flavor or like the
Yeah. The street. They do a street
Yeah,
corn like
yeah,
the
street
Mexican
corn kinda,
style.
yep.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
I had there's a Taki flavored corn nut. They're like limited I don't know if they're limited edition or you can only find them in certain stores because I can't find them at gas stations. Those are like my favorite corn nuts are those.
Okay.
The Taki flavored for sure.
So you're traveling quite a bit. Your family's all the
Yes,
way over there in
sir.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
What's the travel snack for you guys?
If I'm getting like caffeine, shout out coconut Red Bulls. We already know it. But I'll do a fountain drink or a Gatorade, just depends on how I'm feeling. But I like, if I'm getting like a snack, I like combos.
Ooh,
Big
yeah.
combos guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the pizza combos. I had the Buffalo Wild Wings combos. They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
I've
I like
tried
them.
I've not had those.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
had those
I haven't
yet.
even heard of that.
Yeah, I saw
I've
it
had
one day.
the buffalo blue cheese.
That's
That
how
might
is
have
that
been what
you're
I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said Wild Wing, my fault. But
That-
it was the
those
blue
are
cheese.
solid.
Yeah. Yeah,
Those
I like
are really
That's
solid.
what I meant.
Now here's the question when it comes to combos: is it the old school breading or the pretzel?
The pretzel ones.
The pretzel. I think
Yeah.
I go
Yeah.
pretzel.
I like the
I'm
pretzel.
going pretzel too.
But yeah, I grew up like after school, elementary school, my dad would take me and my sister to the store. We'd get like, y'all know those bug juice things?
Yeah.
When I
Oh, yeah.
used to get that when I was little and a pack of
Mhm.
combos. So
All right.
So what did you go? You didn't go sweet snack though, did you?
if I do sweet snack, I'll probably be like gummies, like gummy
Yeah.
worms or gummy bears or even the fruit
Yeah.
snacks. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not a big sweets eater.
Yeah. No. If I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a big dessert guy. Like
Yeah.
in the sense of like I don't like cake.
Yeah.
I've never had cake on my birthday.
Yeah.
But I am a candy guy. Like I'm not a big sweets guy in the
Yeah.
like I mean I like some of it, but like if I'm going to get something after dinner like a dessert, I would rather go to the gas station and get candy.
Yeah.
So
if
what
I'm,
about
if
you
I'm gonna
get-
snack on something in the middle of the
Yeah.
night after
Yeah.
dinner,
Yeah.
it's popcorn for me. I
Okay.
love
Ooh.
man. I like to go to the movies just to
Mhm.
get the popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love popcorn.
See, up until like a week ago, I don't think I liked popcorn. Like actually, I've
Really?
never gotten it at the movies.
No kidding.
Like, but I was at Uncle Mark's house. Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out
And
Marcus
he,
Aurelius, the
and-
Castro.
and Aunt Des brought out this popcorn that someone had given them, and it was like the healthier popcorn brand, but it was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It
Okay.
was like a kettle corn.
As I say, like kettle
style.
corn. Okay.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And then I went into our pantry the next day, and because I'm so blinded because I didn't think I liked popcorn, we had that brand, but it was their Himalayan pink sea salt.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, probably.
Mhm.
That stuff was solid too. So, I might like popcorn.
Bro, popcorn has come a long way, man. If you go to one of those popcorn shops, the sweet cheddar jalapeno,
Yeah.
the kettle corns, I mean, they got so many different flavors now. It's
Yeah.
They got,
amazing.
like, I went to Chicago and there was like one downtown. It was like I guess it was like a pretty like well known. I don't know the name of it, but like my family went in. There was like 6+ flavors. There was like a chocolate like one. There was like a chocolate.
Oh yeah,
popcorn.
with some chocolate
Yeah,
drizzle. They
yeah.
got coconut. They got.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy what they do with popcorn now.
Yeah, it is.
Let me hear your gas station, Johan.
My guess
So I'll
is-
reiterate it. I'll go caffeine drink. Not a
Yeah.
caffeine drink, just other drink.
Okay.
Sweet snack, savory snack.
Okay, so I'm probably going Red Bull, like some sort of like flavor. Definitely not original. Not an original guy. But I'll probably go coconut. Me and Cohen hit coconuts often. Not often.
Shout out.
Not often.
Shout out to coconuts.
Shout out the
Shout
Coconut
out
Red
all
Bull.
coconut.
Yeah,
Coconuts.
shout out all coconuts. So I usually go like coconut Red Bulls to go to, and then for the drink, I've been put on recently to the fountain drinks. Actually, like I've been going fountain
Polar Pops,
drinks.
man,
Yeah,
79 cents.
I've been going
Circle
more.
K.
Yeah.
More.
Shout out Circle K.
Shout out
Big
Circle.
Polar
Shout out
Pop,
Circle
man.
K.
So I usually go if I'm going fountain drink. I usually go Powerade, blue Powerade, because that's the only one they have. It hits different when it comes out of that
Yeah,
carbonated
yeah.
thing. It tastes way better than bottles. I'll never have a bottled Powerade, but out of the fountain drinks, gas. For sweet snack, I'm a gummy type of guy, but I go like the rainbow strips. You know what I'm talking about?
Airhead
Those are good.
Extremes.
Covered in sugar.
Yeah,
Just
those
covered in sugar.
the
Yeah.
covered in
Airhead
sugar.
Extremes.
Yeah, kind of like that. Best ones I've ever had. Buc-ee's.
That
The-
fires me up. That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, the Buc-ee's like rainbow strips, best rainbow strips out there. They're way bigger than the Airheads. They give you a lot more, and it's like $3. So that's what I usually go with for a sweet snack. Savory snack, I've been a Chex Mix guy recently.
Oh.
Like go different flavors, They
Yeah,
got different
yeah.
flavors now, so it just depends on what
Yeah,
I'm
the
feeling.
ranch Chex Mix is
Yeah.
pretty good.
It just depends on what flavor, like what I'm feeling. To be honest, that's what
Alright.
I go. Yeah. How about you, Tom? Did you already say yours? Go ahead.
No, I didn't. Okay, so caffeine drink. This is not none of y'all have said this vein yet. You mentioned coffee. I love gas station coffee. I like going into like I think Circle K has okay coffee.
Yeah.
They switch it out seasonally.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have different hot coffees depending on the season. Like a Love's has a bunch of different coffees, or
Yeah.
Buc-ee's has a bunch of different coffees. QT has the best coffee selection.
Okay.
They're on draft, so they're
True.
nitro.
Yeah.
So I'm going coffee from the gas station, like probably not a canned coffee,
Yeah.
just something from the gas station's brand. Normal drink, probably going like Body Armor Flash IV, or a Gatorade. But those Flash IVs,
Gatorade.
you have those?
I think I know what you're talking about. Like they come in like they're like the
Mm-hmm.
skinny neck or whatever.
I like
Yeah.
the lemon lime, and then savory. I could go combos, or I could go corn nuts for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all have hit some pretty solid options on that. Sometimes it's pretty. I know what I'm gonna get if I'm going savory.
Yeah.
There's not
Yeah.
a lot that's not gonna hold me up. The candy aisles where I've got a bunch of different routes. I'm thinking.
For sure.
No chocolate in here though, right?
I was gonna say, I do like chocolate. Y'all ever been to the Circle K and they have like the Circle K chocolate bars?
No.
No.
It's not necessarily a chocolate bar. Well, it is, but it's like you can break it off into cubes and they're caramel filled.
Ooh.
It's like a Circle K brand or whatever, but
Yeah.
I do like those
All right.
if I'm feeling
Yeah.
chocolate.
No, I can. Now I'm a fan of a plain Hershey's bar.
Plain is
Just OG.
yeah.
I'd go
Okay.
almonds too. I'm
Almonds
not scared
is,
to go
I
almonds.
think
Yeah.
almonds is my favorite. Like if I'm going chocolate bar, I usually gotta get it with like almonds. Even like Snickers almonds, like the Snickers
the white wrapper.
white wrapper is so good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
good.
but if I'm going now sweet in the gas station, I can get like sometimes I'll be feeling chocolate. I'll go Heath bar. Heath bars are solid with
Okay.
the toffee in them, but So I'm going probably Sweet Tart ropes. Like 9 times out of 10,
That's
I'm
a
going
good
Sweet
one,
Tart
too.
ropes.
Yeah.
Now Sweet Tart did a gummy ring, almost like a peach ring, but they're like Sweet Tart rope flavored. They're like in this blue and pink bag. If you see those, I've only seen them once.
Okay.
If you see those, they're worth trying.
All right.
So yeah, it's pretty consistent.
All right. Well, I think we've talked plenty about our gas station runs and all
Yeah.
that. So
This family does a lot of road tripping, though.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, we
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do a
We've got
lot
a
of
big
traveling.
family.
We've got people
does a lot
all
of
over
traveling.
the country and Canada.
We're helping somebody out. We're helping somebody out on their road trip snacks
Next
right now.
time, seriously, if you're going on a road trip and your gas station run is struggling and you're like, "Oh, I'm tired of getting a canned Sprite."
Right.
and like
right.
we're here to help you out because
Yeah.
We're experts.
we're experts.
I was gonna say, I just thought of this when I saw Taylor walk in. Shout out, Big.
Shout out T Ford.
If I'm getting combos, I'll get a Mountain Dew too.
You're
Oh, so
like,
you match your drink with your snack.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for you.
It depends.
And-
It just
yeah.
really depends on what I'm feeling. But I
Okay.
like with combos, Mountain Dew is good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Well, all right. I think I got a question for you, Uncle
Uh-oh.
Jimmy. I'm gonna start it off light here. I'm just gonna go with, when did you and Mark Casto get connected?
All right. Me and Mark got connected. My connection with Mark was very similar to my connection with Pops. I was youth pastoring at a church, and I got called into the senior pastor's office, and he turned his computer around and said, "Do you know this guy?" And I said, "I do not." And he said, "I feel like you're both cut from the same cloth."
Mm.
And he said, "Why don't you think about reaching out to him?" And so, man, just one day in prayer, I felt the Holy Spirit go to just friend request Mark on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd reached out to him. And this was actually not while I was youth pastoring. This is when I had stepped away and resigned.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of doing our own thing a little bit. And I'd reached out to Mark, and we just kind of corresponded back and forth. I didn't know a whole lot about his ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him to come it was overtaken at the time. It was overtaken before it was the North Gate.
Okay.
And when Mark came, I did not want him to just come preach. So we had planned out several days.
Mm-hmm.
And I got tickets to an Indians game.
Nice.
So we went to an Indians game together. And then he came in and spoke for us. And it was like the moment we started to spend time together and realized how much we had in common, it was solid. And then both of us had some different prophetic words about circuit riders before any of that even came about. Like, I had personal prophecies over that. He had words, and we started sharing this. And it was like, wow, man, like, we're going to do life together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's really a friendship here beyond ministry. And probably the more time we spent together, like, I went out to Tennessee and just spent time together.
Right.
And we just realized that there was just a kindred flame of brotherhood there.
Yeah, so it was important for y'all to spend time together outside of just like ministry and what y'all were doing for each other's churches.
Yeah, 100%. I think that is a big key if you're going to be connected in a ministerial sense, because we're all so different and we're all diverse. So I think you have to have friendship before you have any kind of ministry.
Yes, sir.
I think it's almost, to a degree, just a word coming off the top of my head, it's almost nonsense to do ministry without having a relationship first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard, pretty sure it was my dad say before, he talked about quantum entanglement.
Yeah.
They scientifically having an encounter, that's the language we use, but having a moment where you're being tied to someone in that room where the presence of God is there and y'all are having that, our language, encounter together, that is similar scientifically to having intercourse. So you would not want to be in that situation with someone that you had no relationship with.
Yeah.
And obviously, as believers, we don't think you should have intimacy with someone you're not married to or someone you don't have real relationship with.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing as leadership. I told you guys in union the other day, like, you should never ask for anybody's hands till you have their heart.
Yes,
And not only is that how you lead people, I think that's just how you do like I shouldn't be asking you guys to go do something with me, just in friendship.
Yes, sir.
You know, even though I'm a leader, but just in friendship, as you have friendship relationships with people, man, get connected to them first before you start asking of things of them. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned the North Gate earlier on. So when did the North Gate really start, and what do you think makes the North Gate so special?
We started in 2013. That was in Pops' transition. I was actually trying to move where he was. I didn't know where he was, and I didn't know where he was at. I couldn't find him.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden he popped up in Crestview, and then he popped up in Chattanooga, and I really didn't know where he was living. And I had resigned what we would call the systemic exodus. And so I'd been tracking with him since 2009. This is 2013. And so with just a handful of people, I started a prayer meeting in my house. And from there, man, it just grew. We outgrew the house, and then I got connected to one of my best friends on the planet, Mike Thompson. He was actually in a church plant with Bethel under Bill Johnson and Steve Witt, and who runs Bethel Cleveland. And Big Mike says, hey, man, you can use my spot. And so we went from my house to there. We went from there to the gym.
Wow.
The gym was the most wild 3 years of our life. We were in revival that whole 3 years. Miracle, signs, wonders, all kinds of crazy stuff happening. And in 2016, I say it like this, one of the biggest things my heart desired was Papa D and Mama Tammy came to Overtaken. And when he came there, he said, I can't call this place Overtaken. He said, I see it as the North Gate.
Wow.
And, man, in 2016 was when that all shifted. That 2014 is when we started to begin to walk a little closer together. But that's when the North Gate kind of got revealed or announced in the earth. And so from then we moved from the gym to a small little building in Streetsboro. We built that, and then the building that we're in now, we actually built the building while we were paying for Mike and Jen's adopted son, Sam.
Wow.
We were in a gathering. So what makes this Northgate unique? Man, some of the most authentic people I think I've ever met on the planet to encounter Jesus. Very diverse, from people that came from a very poverty, drug-addicted background to we have millionaires in the room.
That's awesome.
And we have figured out how to not look at people's backgrounds or their pasts, and it is the most tight-knitted group of family of the kingdom I've ever been around. So when we became connected to this larger kingdom family, it just made it easy for us to accept, you know, Uncle Mark, Uncle Bobby, Uncle Brad, and that's what we call everybody, Uncle Jason.
Yeah.
Man, our ability to see so many different walks of life and expressions that are connected to Papa D and Mama Tammy, this group of people is so knitted together. It's just beautiful. And most honorable group of people I've ever met in my life.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir. I also had a question here that says, where did you learn to honor so well?
I would think where I learned to honor so well, one, my dad, who is not my biological father. He is what you would call a stepfather, but I can't call him that. I'm just using that for basic terms. He adopted me when I was 1 year old. My real father had left me and my mother. And one thing that I learned from my dad is we call him Pawpaw. Pawpaw, anytime you see Pawpaw, you're going to get the same person every time. No matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing. He's the most giving man I've ever met. And so seeing him operate like that, the way he loves and hugs people, and then going into sports and going into the Marine Corps, one of the core things for the Marines is honor, courage, and commitment. Those are the three staples. And so you're only as strong as your weakest link. So inside of that brotherhood teaches you how to honor your brothers so well and be so loyal to them, because there's going to be at some point, I need you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast on the way over here, and it was someone telling their life story, and it was very, very sad, but I was intrigued by it, and a lot of times the title will hook you, and a lot of what the kid in the video was speaking into was how he can honestly relate all of his struggles he had in life back to his want for a father.
Yeah.
So can you speak into that a little bit of how, I know you mentioned your father's what taught you to honor, which was like, obviously that can keep us in the honor vein, but like what, like besides that, like what do you think having a present father like did for you, and what do you like, and how do you take that into being a father?
Man, my dad was very present, in being like my biggest fan growing up. So inside of that, I'm so thankful. My walk with the Lord, like my dad loved me, on my good days and my bad days. You know, I tell everybody I'm where I'm at today because of my mom and dad.
Sure.
And my mom was old school Pentecost. I know some people may not know what that is, but she so firmly believes in what they call prayer cloth.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was in drugs and alcohol and just a mess, she would break into my house and put prayer cloths in my pillows. And so I have my mom, who's this little prayer warrior, but then I have my dad, who every night till I was 12 would kneel down at my bedside and pray with me. And he wasn't an educated man.
Yeah.
He actually only made it to 8th grade.
Wow.
And then started working full time because he had lost his father early. And so, man, that support of just the walk with the Lord with my parents has made me, I feel like, that stronger of a support with my kids. Like, we do a lot together,
Yes,
like
sir.
as a family. I don't know if you guys see
For
that
sure.
from the
Yes,
outside.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how people view us,
It's
but man,
awesome.
we wake up in the morning, we do family devotion together. I feel like my kids are at a point in 16, 15, and 14. They get Friday, Saturday, Sunday to do their own personal devotion. But this is just how I think as a dad. Like, I love when kids go to youth camp. I youth pastored for several years before I senior pastored. And so my whole thing was like, I hate what they call the camp flame.
Yeah.
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 You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the reason we have that camp flame is kids are taken out of an environment and they're
Yeah.
put in another environment. And
Yeah.
that's not the fake them. That's actually the real them.
Right.
Yes.
Right. No doubt.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? That's the real them at camp because all distractions have been pulled away.
Right.
So I just was like, you know, as I raise my children, I want them to know what's accessible at camp is accessible every single day.
Yes, sir.
And that's one of the reasons I'm connected to this kingdom family, because we all believe that. You guys are in union. You know, I joke about it all the time, but I'm like, man, I'm living in youth camp right now. You know what I'm saying? Like every single day, you can actually do this. You just have to kind of, I call it ordering your time.
Yes, sir.
And so, man, if my dad didn't do so many things with me, it allows me to do so many of those things with my children.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yeah.
just kind of what I was taught.
Yes, sir.
So does that
That's
make
good.
sense?
No.
What would you guys do as dads? Like, how? Just a
That's
thought
a good
right
question. I found myself thinking about that like a lot recently. Even just as I become like more independent, my parents have done an amazing job of not making me be independent in the sense of like, if you don't figure this out, you're screwed and we're not going to help you. But they've done an amazing job of making me and Judah very independent with Holy Spirit. So I'm not independent in like I do everything on my own,
Right.
but they've always made sure that I know where to like I can always go to them if I need them, but where I really need to go.
Right.
So like so what I was saying is like as I find myself like becoming more independent and more mature, I think about how I am handling situations with myself and how I want to handle situations with my kids.
Yeah.
I made a statement in Union. I'm not sure if you were there for it or not, but in John 13, Jesus says, I give you now a new commandment, love as I have loved. This is how they'll know you're my disciples. I take that as he took the commandment, love your neighbor, and one-upped it. and
Yep.
said, this is how to do it now. Because for me, I said, this is what I said in union. I said, if I got up this morning and I looked at myself in the mirror and I had a thought toward myself that wasn't the way Jesus sees me, and then I go love the homeless man outside of Walmart that way, that's not fair to him.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to love him the way I love me, because I don't love me great right now. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm saying in that
No,
in that
100%.
scenario.
Yeah.
So I find myself knowing that I'm gonna have 10 times more grace for my kids than I have for myself. That's just, I feel like that's normal.
Yeah.
But I want to allow things in me to be examined by the Holy Spirit, because I want to handle things with my kids perfectly. And I find myself saying, this is a flaw in me. I can deal with this now, or I can deal with this when I'm married, or I can deal with this when I have kids.
Yeah.
And that's going to be more difficult then. And it's going to make me an inferior, I have a girlfriend now. So even things now, this is going to make me an inferior boyfriend if I don't allow Holy Spirit to have this.
Yeah.
This is going to make me one day this is going to be a flaw in my marriage one day, or I can go ahead and yield it now.
Yes.
Right.
And so that's been a thought recently, is as I let that go from this is going to make me a better boyfriend if I yield this.
Yeah.
Then initially that goes, one day better husband, one day better father. And I just see, for me, the way that things have been in my mind recently is, what in me can I yield so that I'll have more grace and patience with my children?
That's
Yeah.
a good way to put it, for sure. What was like the original question again? What?
Just like, what would we as fathers, what would we do?
Yeah. What have you learned from
Right.
being raised, and you take that, because a lot of times we look at the negativity or the bad, and we miss the treasures that have been inherited to us.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The legacies
doubt.
that's been given to us.
Yes, sir.
You know.
I think, what would I do as a father? I think I'm right in with Elijah. My parents have raised me extremely well to the point where I am now, and they've guided me, and I've been in this culture for more years of my life than I've not, and I think that's amazing. I think it's really helped me grow and just be a better man, or becoming a better man. And recently, I think moving here is I've said it to multiple people. I was talking to Luke Fulcher one time after prayer one time. We went and got lunch. Shout out Luke Fulcher. He asked me a question along this line, what did it wasn't about a father, but he was how have you become a better person, or a better man? And I was like, Fulcher, nobody's telling me to read my Bible. Nobody's telling me to do anything. I'm here by myself.
Yeah.
I have Taylor and Carly, with me, obviously, and then Cohen, but they're not my parents. They're not telling me to go to my room, read my Bible, and all this. And I think I've just become, I told them, I've become more spiritually mature.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important for when you're thinking about your children, you have to become mature first to even think about the next level, becoming a boyfriend or becoming a husband or becoming anything. I think this season of my life's really preparing me for that, and it's teaching me things that I haven't known before. And that's just me with the Holy Spirit, spending time alone, and it's been amazing. And even in prayer at Union, it's been great. And that time is super important to me. I love being in prayer, and obviously you get to read the word, but you also you're just talking to God for an hour just to start off your day.
It's amazing, man.
Yes, sir.
It is absolutely amazing. Somebody asked me the other day, a pastor asked me, he's and Putman was with me. He's asking us, what is a union? They're what's your curriculum? I said, we don't have none. He said, what do you mean? I said, we don't have any.
Just some random pastor?
Yeah, well, it's somebody that I know. And but he was asking, man, he's asking all these questions can we get your curriculum? Are you guys going to have branches of this? And I'm like, no, man, this is not what that is. I said, Union University is the connectability that you have with Abba, and then it's the connectability in the family.
Yes, sir.
Like, it is the tap root. So when we talk about like under the oaks, like a root system, you can have the trees that are planted by rivers. So trees that are planted by rivers have what you call a tap root, which is the main source of the root that taps into the river so that the other roots can spread as far as they could, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So for me, Union, I look at like the instructors, me and Matt were talking about this. I don't know if there's a son that teaches in Union that hasn't been running with Pops more than 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, vested, ambition is gone. Like, we're literally looking at students going, love Jesus and love one another.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Like,
Yeah, it's I've thought about this a lot. Everyone that speaks in Union at some point in their life, like I'm thinking, I mean, maybe exclusive of like Tina and Paige, because this probably just would not apply to their mindset, and maybe not to your mindset. I mean, Tay, I know you've spoke a time or two, but in a sense, you'll understand what I'm saying, that like at some point in their life, they all had to say, I'm not doing this because I want to be a pastor anymore, or I don't want to be the next big thing.
right.
I look at you, Mark, Bobby, all these guys, like y'all were all on the track to be the guy, or or even just like to have your a church and travel every weekend, and or even if you didn't get, even if some of the guys didn't get as far as y'all did, that was they wanted that.
Sure.
Someone like maybe Parker or Dustin, that like they thought at some point in their life, they thought
There was a stage in mind. There
right.
was a stage,
there
a
was
platform.
a platform in mind, and then to watch fathers step down from that in another season, and then in this season see what it was really for.
Yeah.
Was not to be on a massive stage with thousands of people saying something to manipulate those people into getting a response. It's to be like, to be there to say, like, look at Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I know for me, just personally, like, to be connected with a family of believers, that the one thing is to be just obsessed and in love with Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, and I look back to my, like, encounters when I was 10 and 11 years old, and it was like, I can remember going to junior high and, like, wanting to preach in the whole school, like, because I was having these encounters and then it's like I would, like, stray away from the Lord, and then, like, His love would call me back. Yeah. And it was like, that's all I wanted. And then I would stray away in my adult years and be called back. And like every time I was called back by love, like all that I wanted to do was burn. Like that was it. And so it was like when I found a group of people that all they wanted to do was give their life to burning with Jesus. Like we're in prayer last night and I'm looking around the room and I'm going, these people literally just want to give their... I had two things I was supposed to do yesterday. And as soon as I got a phone call for prayer meeting, I'm like, I'm out later.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I was like,
for sure.
I was supposed to draft a baseball team for my kids last night. I'm like, I'm not coming to the meeting. Just give me whoever. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? Like, I know we don't know each other and we're going to get to know each other, but I'm just telling you, like, God has a plan.
Yeah.
And if I have an opportunity to go be in a prayer meeting, like, see ya.
No doubt. Yeah, well, that's another, that kind of is back to what I was saying, that, like, this is not, like, this isn't just something you're doing. Yeah. Like the church that, like, even this is for the branches of our church as well. But like, we don't just attend the homestead.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're not just like members of a church.
Yeah.
And we have lives, and that's what's really important to us. But then on this day of the week, we go to church.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't go there mentally anymore. To be like, mentally, I can't even get myself in the headspace of like, we attend a church.
Yeah.
But then this is what really matters to me. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure, like, I'm thankful for the position I've been put in where I go to the church every single morning because that's where I attend school. Yeah. But I also know that, like, even if I were not in this position, I would still put myself in this position. Yeah. I've heard Taylor Martin say that, like, if he wasn't sitting right there where he was sitting, he'd be sitting on the back row. Yeah. Because, like, this is not about, like, this is the one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And what you said was really cool about how you like everyone, their one thing is Jesus.
Yeah.
I was listening to Baxter Kruger talk the other day, and he said he woke up with the question, why do I love Jesus Christ? Not why do I love the gospel or why do I love the presence of God, but why do I love Jesus? And he talked for a while, but at the end he said it's because Jesus put himself in my knower, in my head,
Yeah.
and got himself inside of all my delusion and loved me when I didn't deserve to be loved.
Yeah.
So
good.
if you want to speak on that, because I've listened to that episode, I found it the other day, and it's been like playing over and over again for me in my head. But like, why do you love Jesus? Like, not why do you love the presence of God and all these things, but I think you kind of touched on it of where
Sure.
you would stray and his love would drag you
man.
back.
Yeah, like growing up the way I was raised, like there's certain things that would happen in my life that I would go, I don't measure up. I'm not good enough. You know, and it was little silly stuff, man.
Right.
Like the way I was raised, like if you said a bad word, like you would just get smashed, you know, with condemnation of doing all these things. So I was raised well, but the message that was being preached was the goal. Are you good enough to get into heaven? And then all of a sudden, and just a brief thing of my testimony, the in and out, up and down, just confusion of am I loved? I tell people, and it was funny, last night was the anniversary of it, March 16th. So when a prayer meeting was called, it was like, I'm going to celebrate 20 years ago when it was because of a relationship with a friend. Buddy of mine was a youth pastor. And I wanted nothing to do with organized church per se. So I was just hanging out with buddies at a thing called Caleb's Crew. And it was a little Bible study. And you'll laugh at this. The reason I went to the Bible study is because I played on the church softball team. And so before me and Tina got together, I played 4 nights of wooden baseball and then 3 nights of softball. And the church softball team wanted me and a couple of the guys so they would be better in their church league. But we were like, we're not going to church. So we went to Caleb's Crew. It was a little Bible study with the pastor. And I would always tell the pastor, like, dude, I'm not going to your church, bro. Like, I'll come to your house, but I'm not going to your church. And I had my reasons. And finally they talked me into going one night to the church service. And my life was a mess. And that night I felt the same love that I felt as a 11-year-old boy, 10-year-old boy, as I did as a 26-year-old man. And what was crazy is the message that I was preached, I shouldn't have been loved. And then all of a sudden, so I would say for the last 20 years of my life, I've been having to unravel an inner critic of am I good enough?
Yeah.
And the best place for that to happen is you have to be in an atmosphere, number one, around people that don't judge you. Church people are sometimes the most critical, judgmental people because they don't love themselves. You kept saying that.
Right.
How can I love you when I don't love myself? So that I soon to like veer away from very critical people, very dramatic people in a lot of drama. Like I start running from you. Because I'm still allowing love to permeate me, because we all hear it. We have not yet seen the human being that completely believes that they're 100% loved by God in every area, in every situation. Yeah. But it's coming. I see it more and more every day when we sit in those union classes and nobody's worried about grabbing the microphone and communion has wrecked my world.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, I was dealing with something that I just could not get a grip on during this summer going into Union. And I remember just thinking, like, this is messing with my mind. Like, I just don't want to still be having this thought when Union starts.
Yeah.
I went up to the church one night, and it was kind of an exhaustion. It was like, I'm just here to pray because I don't want to feel this way anymore. It wasn't anything dramatic. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just like, this is getting annoying.
Yeah.
And I I heard the Holy Spirit say, communion is your answer, which that was how it started.
Yeah.
It's obviously went a lot further. I mean,
Yeah.
I got communion tattooed on my calf.
Yeah.
But it has wrecked my world because there's something John learned from laying on the breast of Jesus.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, that's how I get there.
Yeah.
Because I get to take part of the body of Jesus every single day. I get to drink the blood of Jesus every single day. And I heard Taylor say the other day, he said, if I could see and understand Christ and him crucified, I would not have any of these questions.
Yeah.
So I think when he gave us we see it in 1 Corinthians, he told us to take communion in remembrance of him. And for me, that to not do that would be wrong. That's how you remember what he did. He said, you will remember what I did this way.
Yeah.
There's a million other ways that I can reflect on what him being crucified has done for me. But I see in 1 Corinthians to remember him this way and to take part of my body and to take my blood. And as you take this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he come.
I know something the Lord's been dealing with. It hit me really hard last night in prayer meeting because I'm getting something new in all these communion services in Union.
Yeah.
But last night, the Lord's read all of the Gospels of the Last Supper. So I keep reading them last night. I'd pray for a little bit and then read. Because in this, it's when we see Christ rightly is when we'll realize how whole we are and how loved we are. And so I just kept reading that he blessed the bread, then he broke it, then he gave thanks to prepare for the wine of the new covenant. To prepare us, where Cohen unraveled us a couple weeks ago about the kingdom.
Bars.
Being able to see the kingdom. Shout out to Cohen and his communion leading skills. Man. So I kept reading that over again. He blessed it, then he broke it, then he gave thanks for the new, so you could then see the preparation of the wine being prepared for the new kingdom. And I just kept reading that over again. And he said, don't you get it? He said, so many times we're frustrated of what he once blessed. He then breaks to prepare you for the new. And we can't handle the breaking of what he blessed.
Wow, that's good.
Come on.
And then he starts going, it was my body. I literally bless things in the body of Christ and then break them so I can prepare you for the new wine of the kingdom. And I'm going, oh my gosh. There's so many times I'm frustrated because you took something from me or you broke something, you severed it, you ripped it in half. And I'm going, why? You blessed that.
Yeah.
It's because I'm trying to prepare you for the kingdom and the new wine of my covenant so that you'll see me correctly.
That's good.
Because if not, we're holding on to things. Yeah. And he didn't even want us to hold on to the cross because he wants us to see the resurrection life inside of the kingdom. So he said, my body was blessed and broken so that we would have an access point into the new wine, into the covenant. And I'm going, oh my gosh.
Wow.
We're so close right now to
Yes,
some
sir.
things being unveiled, guys. Woo.
And you see in John 13 where Jesus is washing their feet in the same scenario, and Peter's saying, he says, I will not let you wash my feet. You're my Lord. And he says, well, if you don't let me wash your feet, then you can't take part with me. He said, well, then wash my whole body. And he's like, Peter, don't you get it? You've already been made whole.
Yeah.
You've already been washed. So it's that thing of well, if I'm going to do this and take part in Jesus, I need to be washed and cleansed. And it's like, he's like, no, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You're already there. I'm just trying to wash your feet.
Yeah.
So that's crazy that you were saying that, because I was just that was a new part of, that's my favorite chapter. It's John 13.
Yeah.
And that was something new that I had unveiled, that I felt unveiled to me, was Peter was like, you're not washing my feet.
Yeah.
He's like, no, if you want to be with me, then I need to wash your feet. And he's like, well, then, wash my whole body. And he's like, you don't need that.
You don't need it.
Yeah, that boy Peter was always tripping for real.
Peter was
He was
so
geeked, bro. He was mad geeked all the time. I was reading, it's nothing really serious, but it was like, I was reading last night, I forget where it's at, but, where it was whenever Jesus, the second time Jesus showed up to the disciples after he died, and they were all fishing, and Jesus was on the shore, and when Peter realized it was Jesus, he dove into the water, and it said,
crash out.
Yeah, Peter.
Yeah.
It said Peter dove, swam to the shore because he was athletic, and I'm just like, bro, that boy Peter was.
Okay, so let me. This is something really cool that I felt like the Lord told me to go back and read. I think it's Matthew 4. You were touching on something in this in Union the other day, and I actually turned to it because if the time was right, I was going to bring it up because you were sort of touching on this. So we have Jesus. In Matthew 4, I believe it's Jesus calling on the disciples. It's titled "He Calls on Some of His Disciples."
Yeah.
So we see him call for Peter. He says, "Follow me, Peter. I'll make you a fisher of men," which has been the church has used that. More than maybe they've used any other call from Jesus.
Yeah.
And this is in the Passion is where I'm getting this, but
Sure.
I can pull it from a couple other different things too. But it says later in that, it says, he's calling on James and John, and when he calls John, he says, "Follow me." Period. So then, when we find Jesus being taken away, you have Peter denying 3 times, and then where does Jesus find him again? He's fishing.
Yeah.
Where do we find John? At the foot of the cross.
Yeah.
And John, in my mind, this is all extra biblical. This is how I have felt the Holy Spirit's made it process in my mind is Jesus knew what Peter needed to hear, but you don't have John going back into works because there was no works.
Yeah.
He didn't need anything else. He said, "Follow me."
Yeah.
So then we find John at the foot of the cross, which it's like if I was following you,
Yeah.
and then you got crucified, the farthest I could follow you would be the foot of that cross you were on.
Yeah.
And or in another in the NASB, it doesn't even say what Jesus said to John. It just said he called upon him.
Yeah.
So it's what he told him to do was so. What Jesus told John to do was so insignificant that some translations don't even have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what he told Peter to do was, "Follow me, I'll make you a fisher of men." But when everything hits the fan, we find Peter having to go back to fishing.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy you were talking about.
Because I wrote in my Bible, whenever on that same chapter, I wrote something similar right beside it, along the edge of the Bible. I wrote, Peter went back. I wish I had my Bible with me, but it was I wrote something along those lines, which was Peter went back to where, his works, he went back to his job pretty much. Yeah. Once Jesus got crucified, I was just that's crazy that we.
Most
were
people, when they face adversity, they go back to familiarities.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what that is. Peter went back to so he gives up everything. So we have these moments where we live open-handed, where he was talking about Uncle Mark and, different guys who, myself, who have just lived with our hands wide open saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Lord, whatever you want." And then all of a sudden there comes this shaking. Jesus' death was a shaking for these guys who the last 3 years who've walked away from everything.
Yeah.
But the key part that I see with Peter is here's a man who knew how to do something.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at John the Beloved, he was probably the youngest disciple, and he started following Jesus when he was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
So sometimes the unwiring of who we are
Mm-hmm.
takes time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I talk about healing. Healing takes time. When we were eating the communion the other day, and the wafer versus the big piece of bread, he says that my body is broken so that you can be healed. And sometimes we want things so fast and we don't realize, man, watching the Passion Translation, Peter's the most persistent, like, hey, so when are we going to do this? When's this going to happen? What's
Right.
going on?
Oh, the chosen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jesus goes, soon, Peter.
Yeah.
He's like, well, when soon? He's like, well, to my Father, you should ask him how long a day is. You know, when we can unravel from time and start realizing that God's not in a hurry, that takes us from jumping back into familiarities. When the seed goes into the ground, why hasn't it popped up yet? You know, I don't know if you guys do any kind of gardening or anything like that, but I'm like, we have a huge garden in Ohio, and my thing that messes with me every year is when I put my green beans in, and I'm waiting for all of them to come up, and it's literally when I stop paying attention to results is when I look back that it's like, hey, there it all is.
Yeah.
And sometimes we want those results so fast. I think Peter, who becomes a voice of the fisher of men in Acts 2, you know, because Jesus keeps telling him, you know, Peter's like, I can put things in order. I can do this for you. And he's like, your time will come. It's not right yet.
Yeah.
Because what was being worked on the whole time? Peter's heart.
No doubt.
Where John, actually being younger, had more maturity of the love and the strength to follow. You know, one of my favorite parts about Peter in the Bible is the prayer in the garden.
Yeah.
When Jesus says, will you tarry me with 1 hour? I did a word study on the word tarry, and he kept asking them, will you tarry me with me 1 hour, which means don't act suddenly. So,
wow.
So he was telling them, pray with me 1 hour, because there's something that's going to happen in your life, Peter, that I don't need you to act suddenly. And guess when that part was? When the Roman soldiers come up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he hears it wrongly, and he acts suddenly when he should have realized, man, we're in the perfect will of God right now.
Yes, sir.
Even in this storm, you don't have to react the way you always react.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yeah, where for me personally, I'm allowing myself for this to not be the case, but I can relate a lot more to Peter than I can to John.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, I can get in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how they were saying it, but Jason Clark and Baxter Kruger were talking, and they were like, how many times I had been like, almost the way like if you gave me your opinion, I would tell you, I'd be like, that's amazing, but this is what I think. Like, how many times we've done that to Jesus?
Yeah.
So how many times he'll present this is how it is.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted it to look like, but it's not looking like that. And then I'll go to him and say, I get that this is like what you're doing right now, God, but this isn't how I want it to look.
Yeah.
And I can relate to Peter in that sense a lot more than I can relate to John, just because John had this like peace from what I can tell from reading scripture, this just beloved identity.
Yeah.
You know, that's like if I could put that language to it, where it's this peace in who he was and how loved he was by the Father, that like there's no need to get in a hurry.
Yeah. You also got to watch, though, John was also the one that wanted to call down fire from heaven on people, too.
Right.
Yeah,
For sure.
So
True.
inside of that, yes, he was a little bit more ahead of Peter, you know. But, man, it's crazy how if you look at the age difference, probably 10 years. There's probably 10 years, I would say, or so, between Peter and John. And it's crazy how much the more inside of life you are, the more calloused you become in your heart.
Yeah.
And you think you have to fix things. And, you know, I
Right.
look at the carefree of my children versus me. You know, my children ain't worried about the roof over their head, the food in their mouth. You know, they think Dad's debit card has no end, and it does. It has an end. Hopefully we never see the end of what
Right.
that is. But there's a generation that, you know, we talked about this the other day, like, you know, we're thankful for the roof of our head and the food in our mouth, because that's how me and Tay grew up. And you guys are growing up like, I ain't never worried about food. My family's on welfare. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we worried about food.
Right.
You know, but my kids ain't never had to worry about food. And so my kids in your generation aren't worrying about the roof over their head and the food in their mouth. You know what? Where do I belong?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I
Right.
fit?
Yes, sir.
Which one is a lot more dangerous than the other, if we're being honest?
Whew, yeah, you know why? Because I can make food happen.
No doubt.
You
Yeah,
know,
you can.
I
Well,
look-
like you said today, the thing that people chase the most in America is the thing that's most easy to achieve, and it's
Yes,
money.
you say figure it out. And I say it like this: the easiest thing to get a hold of. We could probably find 6 food banks right here with 15 minutes from this house.
Yes, sir.
Food is not hard to find in America, but where you are and where I should say it like this, where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's
sir.
very, very uncommon.
I can find myself in a lot of places and even be accepted in those places, but is that where I'm supposed to be?
Yes, sir.
It's really good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Especially when we're such a gifting-based society, we're such a striving-based society. We can recognize gifts and abilities in people, and that's workforce, that's church, that's anything. And so all of a sudden, anytime we see a number 1 draft pick, guess what we want them? We want them on our team.
Right.
In
Yeah.
anything that we're doing. We
Right.
can recognize potential in America a mile away, but is that where we're supposed to be?
Yes, sir. That's really
You know,
good.
and where you're supposed to be, and you find yourself in that place where you're supposed to be, is where you're going to find yourself the most love, and you're going to stop second guessing every single move that you make and start going, well, am I accepted? Am I loved? Am I this? Am I that? All of a sudden, you just start finding yourself in this organic place where you don't have to do anything, and you're just like, man, this is amazing. I'm saying this revelation to all of you, but I'm finding myself living this out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying after I gave all those things that I had done between Peter and John. It's not because I it's not because I understand that in the sense that I'm living it. I'm saying that the Holy Spirit has allowed that to be revealed to me so that I can live that. But what's really cool is you also find them both running to the tomb.
That's right.
You know, that's where, you know, that all gets set aside when it comes to being near Jesus.
Yeah, so finding where you're at. So say when we all went to Kentucky, there was a bunch of us going to Kentucky. The amazing part about who you're supposed to be running with in life, we were all on I-65, but we're at different mile markers, but we're on the same path.
Wow. Yeah. Heading
what
to
I'm
the same place.
Yeah.
Right.
Heading to
Yeah.
the same destination. So inside of that, that's where we shouldn't
Took
compare
me a little
ourselves.
longer to get
Yeah.
there than you.
Yeah, it took going a lot longer.
Yeah, some of
I
us
got
were
there the
there
last
for a
day.
couple days. But man, you're right on time and right where you're supposed to be, and then here comes Cohen. And that's how the kingdom works. You know, it's not necessarily looking at the maturity of the person, it's the path that they're on. And that's really righteousness. A righteous man falls several times,
Wow.
but his ability to begin to get up.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I can't get up on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Right.
got to be connected to the right person that's not going to kick me when I'm down, but
Yeah.
help me
Yes,
get up.
sir.
And that's where I know when I'm around family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at righteousness, especially in the culture we're in where we have an understanding that righteousness is not earned.
That's right.
So if it is the path, like righteousness is the path.
Yeah.
So it literally doesn't matter if I'm 10 miles ahead, because you being at the very beginning doesn't mean you have less righteousness.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Not 100%. No, it's definitely a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, did you have any questions, Cohen?
No, I mean, y'all pretty much asked all the questions. Like, it's good. I'm just listening and taking it all in, for real.
Yeah, Cohen just sitting there.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I did want to answer that, fathers, what would you do if that's all right?
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would just point it, like, model my dad, I guess, growing up. Like, I saw him in peak religion pastoring and how different he is now out of that in this new
Wow,
culture
you see
we're
the
in.
transformation in him.
Yeah, and like, I remember being, like, religion works scared of that and, like, judgment and all that. But, and I don't blame my dad or my parents at all because that's all they knew. But coming out of that and into this now is beautiful. But the biggest thing, like, I feel like I would do with my kids, which I don't even think about that right now, you know, or try not to, but, like, growing up, we've always had supper together at the table at home.
Yeah, beautiful,
Me and my
man.
family.
Yeah.
Much
Me too.
needed.
Yeah,
Much
me
needed.
too.
Yep, and I feel like that's, especially in nowadays, that's like a lost thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So that's rare. So I really want that. And then growing up, my dad would always read the Bible to us after we eat at the table together.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, it was King James,
That's
but
cool.
that's like what I grew up on, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
now it's the Passion some, but just, but that's like the biggest thing to me, I think, is just being home with my family.
Yeah.
And that's like, my dad's always told me the biggest thing is not like his biggest ministry is not at a church or a building or anywhere.
That's
it's his
right.
family.
That's
So
right.
that's
good.
the biggest thing for me, I think, and that's like what I get from my parents, just
Yeah.
family, you know, just being home and being together and,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Man,
our
I think
family
that's
table.
right. When I travel right now, I love the mindset of evangelism. Is not telling people what you're against; it's what you're for. And anytime I go anywhere right now, I tell them I'm here, one, for you to find Jesus,
Yeah.
and then if you find him,
Mm-hmm.
that should impact immediately your marriage
Right.
and your kids. And I think, most any kid that has a father that's
Mhm.
in what we're in, I think you just said it. The biggest announcement: there's a change in my dad.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. No, yeah,
There's a
I'm
change in
there
my
for
dad.
sure.
And because of this and like me coming here, I feel like I've always had like an amazing relationship with my dad,
Yeah,
but I feel like it's even better now that I'm here and just like the phone calls we have just talking about stuff like the revelation I'm getting and then what he's getting on his own there and just exchanging, and that's so beautiful to me and I really value that. So
yeah. Most people would say like, revival. The end times is the heart of the fathers turns to the son, and it's those in church service together. No, I think the beauty is being to see fathers and sons, or even mothers and daughters, just be able to talk about this with their children.
Yes, sir.
That's a part of our family devotion every morning.
Yeah.
I don't come in and teach my kids the Bible. We all study at different areas of the house, and then we come together.
yeah.
And then I want to teach my children, do you hear the voice of Holy Spirit? And I have never looked at my kids and go, you're wrong. Even if I think that it may be cloudy, I totally support it and try to teach them. It's what we talked about today.
Yes, sir.
Don't lecture your kids. Teach
Right.
your kids.
Right.
Don't get fear. Lecture comes from fear, and it comes from manipulation and anxiety. They may be off. Man, they're hearing just because it might be cloudy.
Yeah.
It'll clear up. It'll clear
Yes,
up.
sir.
What-
Yeah, I've heard Bobby and Limley talk about that a lot, like when we were at their place, and just how, like, they can get, like, what they have there is obviously amazing, but they can, the prophetic that is within everyone there, and I got to asking him questions about that, and he was saying that the way he handles it is, as a father, he says, go for it, and he's just there to kind of
Yeah.
keep, the waxing thing.
Yeah.
Just there to kind of bump them back in place when they need to be bumped back in place. Or, it's not like, let me put a tight grip on you and I'm going to put you exactly where you need to be. And it's like, tell them to go for it. And then kind of like, if they need if they need to be corrected to the left or to the right or brought back in a little bit.
Yep. I think with codependency that we're removing from the church, the Lord showed it to me like this. When you're taught to how to ride a bike, the safety is dad's there. I've got a hand on it,
Yeah.
but that hand isn't tight because the kid has to learn how to balance. And so in that, man, teaching people how to get back up, ride that bike, go again. All of us know what that point was like at riding a bike, and I think that's how hearing from God is. You have to let go, and you have to let people kind of fall.
And it also takes trust
Yep.
to your father to ride that bike,
Yep.
saying he's got you. Do you trust me? And it's the same with like you're learning to swim.
Yeah.
Your dad's holding you up, and then you start swimming, and he kind of backs off and say, "Do you trust me?"
Yep.
That trust is, I feel like, so important too. About codependency, even like you can work on your own. Like people there with you, you just gotta trust.
Yeah. That's how you're going to pull the creativity out of anybody. Like, I want my kids to find authentically who they are. I've been saying this a lot lately. We're scared to death in the church that we want each other to look like each other. I'm not to conform to Taylor. I'm not to conform. You're not to conform to me.
Right.
We're all to conform to the image of Christ. And so that you'll see characteristics of, like, we're kingdom family. You know what I'm saying? You'll see the characteristics of the family, but the beauty is seeing the authenticity of who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
That's
amazing. Like, just what I think is so great about our kingdom culture is there is not this like fear of being rejected for what we're accepting. Like, I'm like, we're not going to say we're not going to accept this person because they have a rough background, because then what is church culture going to think of us?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's probably the third time I've quoted him, but it's fine. But I heard Baxter talking about John 9, and he was talking about how the blind man had been rejected from his family because they did not want to be rejected from their church system, because they would have gotten looked at as sinful for having the blind son.
Yeah.
And he was saying, what are you being rejected from? Like, you're really that scared of the church culture that you're going to reject your own son? And I think that's so, like, what we have is so special.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, we're not going to say this person can't be here because they have a rough background, because then this person might think differently of us. It's like, no, we don't, like, it's in like the most holy and non-arrogant way. So we don't care what everyone on the outside is thinking. We want that person to know they're loved.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. It's beautiful.
Yes, sir. Johan, you got anything?
Not that I'm thinking off the top of my head, It's just, yeah, not really. It was just like what you said. It was like about not people caring what we think. It was just like a little funny thing that back where we used to live in Saluda, they called us a cult, and it was funny.
Yeah, no, we dude, I remember we went to Chattanooga in 2022, right before we moved here, and I had a radical encounter, and I got it tattooed on my chest.
Tatted up.
I got it tattooed that was in February. This tattoo is February 14th. I got it tattooed in like April on spring break in Vegas, and I remember I came back and no one understood it. Like, nobody got they were like.
Yeah.
First off, I think I was the only kid at the school that had a tattoo.
Yeah, you were.
I was definitely the only kid at school that had a
none of
tattoo.
the seniors or nothing.
Shout out to King's Academy.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed.
It actually, it straight up wasn't allowed, but I did it.
Wow.
And I remember they were making up all these different theories. They thought maybe I lost my virginity or something.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm telling you.
Just start marking his body or something.
Yeah, I'm like getting it tattooed, which is wild for sure.
Yeah.
Wild thing to do. But yeah, I just like we definitely didn't handle it well. We definitely could have been a little more vocal.
Yeah, we definitely could have told them we weren't a cult. We were just like, yeah, I mean, we love Jesus, bro. Like,
yeah, like we definitely could have been more vocal about helping people understand. Because
But you were in that junior high phase.
Yeah.
Junior high's awkward, man. That's the
we were
phase.
peak middle school. Like,
yeah, dude. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade is some weird years.
But I look back and I'm like, there was not a lot of questions out of judgment. It was a lot out of curiosity.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I wish I could have handled that a little bit better. And I had a kid call me about a year ago that I was connected with there. He went off to college and had radical encounters with the Lord and got radically saved and completely turned his life over to the Holy Spirit just to be led by Jesus. And he called me and was like apologizing. And he was like, I never understood it. He was like, I never understood why you would miss school for church. If services got extended somewhere, why would I miss school and baseball practice?
right.
Because of a single church service. Like, there's plenty. Which, like, if you're looking on the outside, I get that. Like, fair. But he was like, I literally can't focus in school. All I want to do is just devour the Word of God. Like, he was like, I just want to read books I just want to read the Bible. I want to read books. Like, I can't even, my grades have completely quit mattering to me.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't understand how y'all were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fire.
So you guys got anything else for me?
Nobody?
I got something for you.
Yeah. Let's see it.
Okay.
All right.
My favorite holiday is Christmas. And so one of the things I told you guys earlier, like me and Tina are like huge, especially at Christmas time. We love quoting movies, stuff like that. So I want to know, and I think the listeners want to know, what's your favorite Christmas movie and why?
Go. Yeah.
You got
Go.
one
Go
going?
first. What's your favorite Christmas
I gotta
movie?
think a minute.
I love Christmas, man.
If y'all get one, y'all can go ahead. I'm trying to think.
There's, I don't really. I guess I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Home Alone. I'm a Home
OG
Alone.
Home Alone.
OG
I like
Home
that one,
Alone
yeah.
guy. I think it's just pure nostalgia for me. Like my grandpa, he doesn't speak my mom's dad.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak English very well, so he's a big like. If the movie's pretty entertaining, he likes it.
Yeah.
Like if we're not watching it with like subtitles or like
Sure.
it's dubbed in Spanish. So he's big. he's big into like
Which it's a safe call. He's probably not going to listen.
yeah.
So we don't.
It's fine. It's fine. Shout out Grandpa.
Shout out
out.
all the
Shout
grandpas
out.
in the earth.
Yeah,
Shout out.
But yeah, he like so like I would just watch it like me and my sister we would watch.
So what's your favorite part of it?
It's definitely like as soon as he's like sits down to eat the mac and cheese and like the action's about to start, like they're about to start breaking in the house.
That always made me mad though. Like the mac and cheese, you
It
didn't
looks
even touch
so
it,
good.
and it looks
Yeah.
delicious.
My favorite part is when the spider is on him
Yeah.
and he just starts speaking.
Yeah.
When he screams, that's like even in part 2 when he's getting electrocuted
Yeah.
and he's screaming, like I lose it every time. I lose it every single time. Do you have a favorite part of Home Alone?
Favorite part of Home Alone? No, I just think it like that. It's a great movie. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a
even from the
great classic.
beginning, the like subtle foreshadowing
Yeah.
of the guy delivering the pizza, and
When
you
it-
can tell he's
Yeah.
got. And it's one of those movies that it's just as fun to watch again
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, that guy's at their house.
Yeah.
That guy's, which is always like it was just very weird that they knew there was a kid in there
Yeah.
and they were still gonna try to break in. That's a very odd. Burglars don't typically break in.
Oh, I actually like the part where he has the Michael Jordan cardboard cutout and like he's
No doubt.
pretending to have a
Yeah,
party.
party,
I
yeah.
I hit that
It's a
dance
good
move
scene.
often.
That
often
soundtrack
whenever
is
he's
like one of the best Christmas soundtracks. They
Yeah.
got a lot of good classics in there.
Yeah.
I think Trump was in that.
No, he was in this. He
He's
was
in
in
the
the
second
second
one.
one.
The second.
At the
Shout
hotel
out.
in New York.
Yeah.
Shout out.
In New York.
Shout out to Trump.
Shout
No?
out Trump. We can,
If we want to.
yeah, we'll have him on. We'll have him on one day. I got my
Donald
contacts.
J. He'll come on. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Him and Elon. You guys
Yeah,
gotta have
yeah.
them on
Apostle
together.
Aaron. Apostle Aaron has the hookup, so we should be able to get him. set up.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
4 Christmases.
I was gonna say that.
It's either
I was
that.
gonna say
it's,
that.
it's either that one or National Lampoons.
Okay.
Yeah, that
like-
one's good.
Yeah.
Cousin Eddie is
Yeah.
my guy, but then the father's house with the MMA fighters, like it kind of reminds me of my house a little bit, maybe. You know, as the more of the love of Jesus that comes in, it's not like that.
Yeah.
but we install stuff ourselves around here. Top
I
side
like
five.
Christmas with the Cranks. Y'all know
Christmas
that
with-
one?
Yes,
That's
a
a
classic.
banger.
That one.
Great-
That one's
That's a
great
underrated.
one, too.
I watched that one. I didn't watch a lot of Christmas movies this Christmas,
Me neither.
like start to finish.
Yeah.
But that was one this Christmas I went start to finish on, and it's solid. Just like the daughter coming back home with the foreign boyfriend, and they've got to throw the party.
Yeah.
It's just it's
Yeah,
solid.
banger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a good
I
one.
kind of wish they would have just went to the beach. I would have been fine with that.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
big beach guy,
Yeah.
but it's whatever.
Yeah, I think my family, we started a tradition not to, when we moved to Covington actually in 2022, that year we started watching Christmas with the Cranks on Christmas Day after
So
breakfast.
Christmas Day for us, we watch it all day long. It just
Yeah.
plays in the background.
yeah, so,
Is a Christmas Story. Red Ryder BB gun.
yeah.
So that is an original. So the house and everything was filmed in Ohio, in Cleveland. So that's a big.
Yeah.
That's a big tradition for us.
Yeah.
So I love
That's
Christmas
awesome.
traditions.
Yeah, I love Christmas too. I'm getting more into Christmas the older I get. It seems.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Yeah, Christmas.
Especially when you get that heart for the little kids opening gifts.
Yeah.
That's
No,
the-
see, the best part about Christmas this year was watching Mila and Liz open presents.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, love
Alright.
watching little kids go bonkers.
All
over
right,
presents.
Cohen.
What you got?
I like Polar Express.
All right, that's a good one. That's
I mean,
DJ Ford over there gave us a little hand
Yeah.
motion. He likes that one.
Yeah.
just growing up, I watched that. I watched it. It wasn't even necessarily Christmas time. Just
You
but
just had it
mostly
on
more
repeat?
around Christmas. I remember, and then I also like the movie. I don't know if it's an old one. It's A Wonderful Life. Y'all know
yeah.
that one?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like that. I watched. I don't even it's been a while, but I just like that around Christmas time.
Just
but-
so refresh me.
Wow.
That's George Bailey, right? It's me,
Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
All right.
Saints
Heck yeah.
first.
All right,
That's
well,
an old
let's.
movie.
I know me and Cohen, Johan, he can probably get down with this too. Me and Cohen are old school country fans.
Oh, here we
So
go.
let's give me your greatest of all time for country, and then maybe give us a song or two, and then we can close out this way and just kind of wrap it up talking old country music.
So we're going top 3 if I'm
Yeah,
by
that's
myself
perfect.
chilling, old school. If I'm by myself, I'm going. I have to say this by principle. George Strait is number 1.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
But I did grow up in high school from 93 to 97. So Garth Brooks is my Elvis Presley.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
rock star.
I love Garth. And then my toss-up for number 3, depending on how redneck I feel.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling real redneck, I'm going Hank Williams Jr.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I love Brooks and Dunn. Like I'm a
Yeah.
huge
Yes, sir.
Brooks
I
and
like
Dunn.
Brooks and Dunn too.
Yes, sir.
And then, man, you guys are messing with me. Alabama. Like,
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta
went
throw
to an
them in there.
Alabama concert last year.
yeah,
It was horrible.
yeah. It's time to hang
I
it
left
up.
a song and a half in.
Yeah, it's time to
Dang.
hang it up. Time
One
to hang it
song.
up.
Old.
They're almost
It was
80
bad.
years old.
Wow.
Well,
Crazy.
only one of them's left.
Yeah, so it's like
So
yeah,
Wow.
but original Alabama. From
Oh,
the
for
early
sure.
was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
man, Mountain Music, Dixieland Delight. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, those are my go-tos.
yeah.
Oh,
So.
yeah. No.
Cohen, I'm pretty sure I know yours, but
My number 1, I mean, George Strait.
George Strait.
He's the king, man. You have
he's
to,
the king.
man. You
Yeah,
have to.
he is.
I also love me some Keith Whitley.
We're on the same.
Yeah,
We're even
yeah,
here. We're
yeah,
even
yeah,
here.
Yeah,
Man.
Who's your third though? Because we're 1 and 2. We're even. 1 and 2. We're
I'll
even.
get some notes.
My third is, dang, it's just really how I'm feeling.
Well,
I like Alan Jackson too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot Alan. Like,
Yeah.
this guy.
Like,
See, I thought
started
that's where
thinking,
you-
and
when
there's
you were
so
going-
much good country
there's
there.
so many I started
Yeah.
naming, but
You know,
I'll
I
just
just
put
have a
those-
whole playlist of 90s.
I like Merle
Yeah.
Haggard. I like
Yep.
George
Waylon
Jones,
Jennings.
George-
Like,
oh,
I
I
can
like
go,
them
I
all.
can
Dude,
get-
yeah. If we want to go,
George
if we wanna
Jones,
go
I
George-
can go-
Yeah,
you know
I
what
can
I'm
go
saying?
George Jones with you
Yep.
real quick.
All right.
Like those are probably my top 2, and then from there it's just
You know,
Oh, my
fun
man's
George.
over here's losing his mind.
I'm frothing. I'm
little
ready to talk
George
about
Jones
Who we over here?
tidbit.
Tupac?
yeah.
You know,
No,
some
I
Biggie?
all right. I got some. I've been locked in recently. Me and Cohen.
I put.
He's been
Johan
putting
on.
me on heavy. Like ever since I moved here, I've been listening to just. That's all we listen to, like on car rides, ain't it, Cohen?
Yeah,
It's
the
just
old
old
country.
country.
We got some.
So you're being converted.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
well, like
praise
I.
God.
No,
I'm
he
putting
was a
him on.
country.
I was
guy
a
before.
country guy before, like modern, like
Modern.
now, but like
I do
now
need to
I
go
listen
back
to
to
more
George Jones.
old.
But you're getting to the OGs,
So-
the foundation.
Yeah, I like so Keith Whitley's my number 1. All right, me and Cohen. That's all we listen to is Keith Whitley, and then I like
Bluebird.
I like Randy Travis and Tracy Lawrence. Those are my
Come
top
on.
3
Yep.
right now.
Tracy
Fire me
Lawrence has
up.
got some classic
All right,
stuff,
I was about to say this. George Jones tidbit. I think Amarillo by Morning is the greatest country song
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
My second place favorite country song ever might not be a George Strait song. I think I'm going She Stopped Loving Him Today.
Yeah,
George
yeah.
Jones.
George Jones.
Loving
Which was
her
written-
today.
This is the tidbit. Was written by a Putman.
Oh,
Someone related to Matt Putman wrote that song. He could now if you want to
Wow.
ask him about it, he
that's
can give
our
you
fact checker.
he can
Fact
give
checker.
you
Yeah.
more on
Shout
this.
out Matt Putman.
Shout
fact
out.
Shouts
checker.
outs.
Wait,
Shout out.
We expect him
Matty
to be
Matt.
listening.
He
Putty putt.
he told me that story. She stopped loving him today.
Yeah.
No, he stopped loving her today.
Yeah, he stopped loving her today.
Sorry. That's 100. I literally said it's my second favorite song and got the title wrong.
No, it's fine.
But you know what I mean. But
yeah.
that still to this day is my favorite song to play on guitar. Yeah. Hey,
Oh.
let me hear it.
Oh, here T Ford's in the house.
Shout out to the producer, T4, right
He's
here.
here.
Yo.
Okay, at the bottom, he stopped loving her day, 1980, George Jones. At the bottom, it says Bobby Braddock and Curly Putman.
Curly
Curly
Putman.
Putt.
Now-
Curly Putman.
What a
Curly.
name.
Shout out Matt Putman.
Matt
What a
Putman's
legacy.
long distance cousin.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
What a
pretty
name.
sure.
I love it though.
Matt gave me some more. He gave me some. He has details on it. Like obviously, he's a big country fan, so he knows about it. But apparently, like Curly Putman writ like he wrote more than just that song that were like, you know, that we know.
Wow.
I forgot which one.
Now, any bluegrass with you guys? Some Ralph Stanley?
Yeah,
some
I like some blue. I
Flat
like
Scruggs,
I
Ricky
like-
Skaggs.
Yeah, I like Ricky Skaggs.
Love
Yeah,
Ricky,
Ricky
Skaggs.
Skaggs.
Love me some Ricky.
You like some of the new bluegrass stuff? Like, would you go like Billy Strings?
No, I'm more old.
Okay.
I'm more old school with that.
I love Billy Strings. That's really the only bluegrass that I listen to. But he has an album of old bluegrass covers that he did. That's just fantastic. But yeah,
Southern rock, Leonard Skinner.
Oh,
Yeah.
me and
Little
Hey,
Skinner. Dude,
fact,
I
Leonard
love
Skinner-
jamming some Skinner.
Is from Jacksonville, Florida. Like they're out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh
Okay.
my
Oh, he got
goodness!
excited.
No one
Yeah.
Fire
cares.
Did you
him
see
up.
his
I'm
eyes
glad I
glare
knew
up,
it.
man?
Sweet
I'm glad I
home
knew something y'all didn't
Jacksonville.
know.
Jackson's like, he's like, hold on a
If I'm
second. I
not
don't even gonna
mistaken.
stand up. Like, let me tell y'all something here, okay? Let me tell you something about Leonard Skinner, man.
I finally got a fact that y'all don't know.
Yeah.
hey,
He was coming with it, man. Your eyes got so big, man.
that was
I was
awesome.
like, man, did he
That's
find
funny.
a $50 bill on the couch over there? Like,
Yeah,
what's
we-
going on?
Me and
No, there's only pennies in this couch.
Only pennies here.
Yeah.
no.
Hey, a shout out. Listen, I got to let all the listeners know that these two boys have the cleanest single men bathroom I think I've ever seen. Like,
Thank you.
shout out to the
Thank you.
clean
We
bathroom.
appreciate it.
Yeah, Johan,
Appreciate
my whole
it.
life, Johan has been like, his room has been pristine.
Super clean guy.
Super clean guy.
So, ladies, all the single ladies.
No, I'm taking,
no,
I'm taking, I'm
Johan
taking,
got a
I'm
girlfriend.
taking.
Oh.
I'm taking out.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out to Cohen, the only single guy in the room tonight.
Literally-
shout out,
literally-
Cohen.
Hey, and
Hey,
I cleaned the
who
bathroom
can
last-
sing and play
Yeah,
guitar?
he can
Sing, and he
and,
has, we don't have any, we have no visuals, but I'll give you attractive mustache can
Yeah.
sing. That's really all you need. to
Good
do.
hair.
the mustache game is strong.
I have
Freshly
It is
tatted.
super
I
strong.
have this
Appreciate it.
practice because this is pretty much all I said at the Braxton Keith concert because I tried to get him with like 50 different girls.
They were all like drunk though, so
I would be like,
Yeah,
I'd walk up to
yeah.
this girl, and be like, "Hey,"
It's
and I'd
got to
like,
be
"You
a
see this
kingdom
guy?"
girl. So
and it
Right.
whether you're in
Yep.
Kentucky, Ohio, Texas,
Kentucky preferably, so you know,
so you can go together,
Yeah, pretty much.
stay roommates.
Yeah,
You want
get
to
neighbors. You
Yeah,
get
go
yeah,
to
neighbors.
yeah,
someone
yeah.
else's basement in Kentucky together?
gonna pull a Matt and Jordan Allsup. Matt
Yeah.
Putman, Jordan Allsup.
yeah.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
live next door to each other.
And Cohen's freshly tatted, y'all.
Fresh
Oh,
tatted forearm
man.
tattoo.
Forearm
done
tat.
for.
Look at that, man in the
Done
wilderness. Love it.
Peeling a little bit.
He's fired up.
So. No, we had to end it like this. Like,
Yes,
this.
sir.
You guys got all serious on me, man.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got.
I
our
heard
thought
the
I was-
first episode, and I was like,
yeah,
man, we're just gonna be busting the whole time. Then you guys get in here and you start pulling on me. I'm like,
it was good
man.
though.
I thought we were just gonna shoot it up, man. And then you guys are,
Oh
No, we-
you're like,
we,
hey, Uncle
uh,
Jimmy, like, let's preach a little bit. I'm like, all right,
Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed
That's
it.
how
though.
most of my conversations end up going, anyways. So
yeah.
that was awesome. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much for
Yes, sir.
coming and doing this with us.
Thank
It
you
was
guys for having me.
an honor to have you on, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yes,
yeah.
Hmm.
I'm sure that there's more stuff people will want us to get back into. Like, I'm sure there's rabbit trails we took
Yeah.
that we could have stayed on one path.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe we can.
Yeah.
Maybe if there's anything somebody's like, hey, I wish y'all would have finished this story, or I wish you would have asked him this question inside of that. If y'all want to comment anything like that,
For sure.
maybe we can, try to have you on part 2 sometime and
Sure.
get back into that stuff.
We could stay on that country music rabbit trail for a while too.
Man, that was strong.
That was dangerous
strong.
because we didn't even get into like Zach
No.
Top, or we
No.
didn't
No,
we
none
didn't
of
even go what's happening
We'll,
right now.
we'll definitely get in there next time.
Yes, so
Yeah.
we
Pause.
definitely set ourselves up to do this more.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, most people think LeBron James is the GOAT,
No,
but it's
way.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And so
It's
Zach
Michael Jordan.
Top in this young generation, man, might be like the next George Strait.
I think he's George
He's
Strait,
strong,
but he doesn't
man.
have but LeBron thinks LeBron's the best.
Mm-hmm.
oh, look at this guy. That's true.
But Zach Top don't think he's the best.
True.
And I
That's
think
what
that's where
might
he
make
always
him
gets
great.
warm
Which
up.
might
will
make him
him
great.
Yeah.
Or George Strait.
Yeah.
But yeah. So thank you so much for coming and
sir.
talking with us
Thank
for a
you.
little
It's
bit.
awesome.
I know we've had a freaking blast doing this. Everyone seemed to love the last episode. I was like, this might be kind of boring.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't. Apparently y'all liked it. Just listening to the fellas sit around and talk about what's been going on, and so we're really excited for what, like, just how much fun we're able to have, and like apparently people want to listen to it a little bit.
Yeah.
So
And if you want to sew into Johan's flat tires,
Yeah.
please do that.
Please.
Get his
Or any of us,
Venmo,
really.
his
Yeah.
Venmo or
Yeah.
his PayPal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
somehow get a hold of him.
Maybe it would be.
I
nice.
live with them, so I helped the flat tires.
I offered
Shout
to help,
out
so let's
myself.
just throw all of our cash apps in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put
I'm
link
just
in the bio.
Yeah, y'all can. It's not hard to find us on
We're gonna
Cash
have a
App. We're not.
giving link,
We don't try to
please.
hide it.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank y'all. Thank Johan and Cohen. Thank y'all for doing this and letting us come into your house and do this. Taylor,
course.
thank you for.
Yes, sir.
Shout out
Shout
T
out
Ford.
Taylor.
Shout out T Ford.
We're
Really to
we're
Carly.
already-
Shout out
we're
to Carly.
scheming on how to give Taylor like a laptop where he can do anything on it to kind of like produce for a little bit, kind of how Riley Mao is for Theo Vaughn. And give him where he can chime in for when he gets when we have to get him to look something up, which he obviously already did, and we're super thankful for
It's on point.
all of his help. So thank y'all for listening, and comment if you we'll probably pick our next guest, but if there's anyone wants to see us have on, or say, hey, I want this person to be on because I want you to talk to them about this. It doesn't have to be serious. Like, I want you to have this person on because I want to know who their favorite country singer is.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that listen to this that don't get to have an hour and a half conversation with you about anything under the sun.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful we get to do that,
Yeah,
and we get to
100%.
be that window for some people that are in our kingdom family that just kind of want to look into your life a little bit.
Sure.
We kind of get to pull back the curtain, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, my life. The picture
Yeah.
says it all.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
That was 6 years ago, by the way.
Yeah, that was not. Yeah,
that was
wasn't
not a
high school
recent
picture.
photo. But I was dumb enough to play in an alumni football game at 40 years old.
Well,
Wow.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much for listening, and
On to the next one.
we'll see you on the
We'll
third
catch you
episode
on
of
the
Chewin The
flip.
Fat.
See you on the flip side.